After my last video series on working with CAD, I got a few questions, and I thought I'd maybe address them here. And one of them that kind of stuck out was from Lawrence. And let's see what Lawrence had to ask. Yeah, that's not what I remember. Hang on a sec. Uncle Cedric, you are a okay. He's using XP, and hey, I understand. I totally get it. XP is an excellent operating system. To give any meaningful answer to this question, we have to look at the bigger picture. A lot of folks associate CAD with the whole big, full-blown, platinum-plated CAD CAM experience. We're talking about 3D models, really nifty-looking stuff, with different environments and design helpers to make complicated, convoluted stuff. And it's really great. I mean, it looks nifty. It lets you really see how things fit together spatially, and it's great for getting a relationship to another piece, like with the stupid thing I just did. If I built my machine around it, I can see, what kind of clearances I have. And for the home gamer, maybe it's not so useful. If you're going to be using this is great for save this file off and give it to somebody else who really doesn't have an idea what you're trying to do. And a lot of times they don't really care. They just want to make your parts or put something in a production. And they can take all the measurements they need off of this, and they can get an idea how it's all supposed to fit together. And maybe somebody who gives a crap will look at that and say, maybe that ain't going to work, and they'll do a little more work on their own. This is for showing other people what you're seeing in your head, is the way I'm looking at it. Maybe what you really need is more of an electronic napkin. For most of my parts that I'm trying to envision, I'm going to use something along the lines of a drawing program, really. Something that I can quickly get what I'm thinking of down on paper, since I'm a lousy drawer with paper and pen. I can throw it on here, and then I can play with it and work my dimensions out, because a drawing program has just about everything you need. I use CorelDRAW because I've been using it since version 3, and we're up to what, 17, 18 now, and it's just something I've become comfortable with. But a good drawing package is going to have just about everything. You want to work in millimeters, you got to scale in millimeters. You want to change that to inches, no problem. Change it to feet, whatever the hell you want to do. Get your thing laid out, and say you want to find the angle of that. You got these nifty guidelines, or like virtual straight edges, and I can change the angles of those and then read what that particular angle turns out to be, and I can translate that into working parts. There, that's a 10.3 degree angle. We're close to it. There's just a lot of things to do. You need to measure something and put on here. I mean, everything's already got dimensions put in. They're easily scalable to different sizes. A nifty thing you can do that probably CAD programs don't is use some real-world things to measure off of. If you got a camera or a scanner, go ahead and throw a scale in the picture, and then adjust your scaling between the two to match. So I have the scale now matched up with drawing dimensions for 6 inches from end to mark, and that will get me pretty darn close. And now I can measure any part of this tool or this piece here and get a good indirect measurement. Let's say this outer diameter here, this is a wrench for my collet nut, and say I either want to make a collet nut off of that or another wrench. Looking at that diameter, it's not something you can easily directly take a measurement of, because the circle is not complete at the center point where the nut would be. Well, we can do something like that. We need a center point here. I've already got a couple of guidelines marking the inner sections of these pegs, so I can just take a line, throw that across, and I'm going to get an instant center point right there. I'll drag a guideline over to that center point. It locks in, and now I have the center axis of the nut that is not here. I can grab a circle and infer that inner diameter, or the larger diameter, is 2.5 inches. piece of cake. Say I want to put a hole somewhere in my doohickey, right there. Actually, let's get rid of that first because I need to show you something else. You can set your origin on the fly anywhere you like. So say you're using a DRO on your mill. You can grab your origin and set it like right to the edge of the part, say that corner. Or you can put it in the center of that circle, but you can't indicate the center of that circle while it's lying in your vise. So come off your vise jaw or something like that. I'm coming off this top left corner. Say I want a hole here. No problem. I go up here and look at that, and that gives me direct measurements that I can wind the DRO to, and that'll put a hole right there. If I want to change the hole and make it more precise, well, I can just alter these numbers and say 1 and -1. And that'll put the hole precisely where I want, which is off the tool, which would be kind of silly. Say, for some goofy ass reason, I want to put holes all the way around on these pegs. I don't know why. Let's make that easier to see. For some reason, I wanted holes there. Drainage for oil. I don't know. I can grab the hole. We'll go to our transformations and the rotate section. I'm going to change the center point of where I want this to rotate about. As soon as I grab the right pointer there, I'll move that center point over here to the center of the axis, and I'm going to say I want 3 of them, 3 copies plus the one we have, and I'm doing a rotation of -60 degrees as the program's looking at it. I'll get one here, here, and here, and I hit apply, and I do. So there is a lot of things this can do along like a CAD program, but it may be more suitable for you. It all depends on what you're trying to accomplish and your workflow. I'm not trying to push you away from CAD. I'm just thinking maybe it's overkill or not suitable. To answer Lawrence's question, program I've been using off and on, and it works fine on my older machines, and it's well, it's just called eMachine Shop. This is put out by a company that has a web presence, and they provide the software for you for free to make things up, and you can make a quick part in here, and it'll have the dimensions, and you can give them the file, and they'll give you a quote or make the part for you. And it's got a little, it's got the basic CAD type of stuff in there. Make your squares, make your circles, and they already have dimensions on them. You can look up here and see the properties of that particular piece. You want to draw lines or splines, no problem. And then import something and then get a measurement off of it. Make your little blueprints, and then you have working notes when you put your pieces together, so you don't have to hold all these numbers in your head. It's got some limitations. It's not a full 3D. It's not hardly 3D at all. This is a 2D quick and dirty layout program, which is kind of cool. You want to make a new part. I use this a lot for gears. You can put in the dimensions or you think you're going to want right here in this little we'll call it a design wizard, and this particular gear is going to have a bore diameter of 394, which is your shaft size, the pitch you want, teeth number, pressure angle, how much slop you want in the gear, and and it will go and figure out all the pertinent things that a gear maker would need to cut the thing that you want, and presto, you have it. So you get to look at it, see what it's going to look like, get rid of the preview, and now you've got your outline to look at. Now, okay, maybe you're not going to have these guys make your gear, but right here you've got a nifty profile that you can go off of to make a fly cutter. Chuck up some high-speed steel, print this thing out, get close on your grinding of the tool, and you can throw that in a fly cutter with a rotating table, and you can cut that gear out just fine. I mean, a lot better than you're going to do guessing at it. And you have dimensions you can play with to to see. Here, I want to go from here to there. So there you go. You can check the dimensions as you're grinding out your tool bit, and it's a neat thing. You can do, okay, sheet metal box. Okay, I want a box that size. You throw it on there. It'll show you what it would look like when it's all bent up. but you also get a nice little flat pattern that you can print out and glue it onto a piece of sheet metal and do your own workup. So for something that is really simple, free, and will work on probably any PC with XP and up, because I know I do use this on my XP machines, give it a try. It is not going to hurt. I will put a link down in the description for this and some other things that may be of interest to you. What else can we do in here? I just downloaded, this is a newer version. It'll let you know when the price sheet's out of date and such, so occasionally they'll issue an update, and they keep adding more stuff. When I had it, it was just a spur gear and a couple other doodads, but we can do bolts, box lids, a flywheel. What's a flywheel look like? It looks like that. Cool. So if you really need one of these in a hurry, make one up, send it off to these people, and wait in the mail. Otherwise, you have a drawing that you can go by. And there you have your dimensions. I mean your layout. It's cool. Anyway, I'm not here to promote any particular software. I'm just trying to promote your thinking. What you want to accomplish is going to dictate what kind of software. CAD is just simply computer-aided design. It's a broad brush. It's basically using a computer to help you in your day-to-day tasks in the shop. And it's really cool for checking relationships or getting a quick visual idea or getting your notes down. That is really all it is. It doesn't have to be complicated. I mean, you could use paint, but paint sucks, and you don't want something raster based. You want to be able to move your stuff around proportionally without losing detail. And that's what's cool about a vector based drawing program. Some of you maybe already use something like Adobe Illustrator or whatever. Hey, go for it. I would advise for the home gamer that I think a good drawing program beats a cheap CAD program. You can just do a lot with it. I can't even try to do tutorials for this kind of stuff. It is just phenomenal of all the things you can do in some of these packages. Anyway, that's what I wanted to answer. Lawrence, look at that eMachine software. Check the link. And the rest of you guys who may have Autodesk Inventor and you want some tips and tricks, go over to TFI's channel on YouTube. Neil is a great guy, and he has a lot of tutorials on how to do the basic stuff to the really neat. He's my go-to for telling me how to do something in Inventor. He's already moved up to Inventor, or the next level of Inventor or version, and I'm still stuck on 13 or 16 or whatever it is, but his older videos are great, and a lot of it applies. So go and check that out. I urge you, if you want to do something on the budget-friendly side, more free, a graphics program you can pick up, a vector graphics program, is called Inkscape. And you can do, as you see, a whole bunch of stuff with it that would be along the lines of an Illustrator or Corel Draw. But it's free, and I think it's an open source. It's an org address, and I have used this in the past. If you want to get your feet wet in a good vector-based program, go ahead and give it a try. If you want to spend a little money and get into this Corel stuff, I said I'm biased. That's all I've used since Corel version 3, so I'm kind of familiar with it. You can get the Corel Draw, and they also have a technical version called Corel Designer. It has just about all the features of Corel Draw, but it's more geared towards technical drawings. You have some pseudo 3D kind of things in here. If you want to make a shaft, you can come down to this tool here, do a cylinder. Right there, instant cylinder, and it looks kind of like that. You want to color it, no problem. Come over here to the toolbar and give it some colors. Pinks, browns, doesn't matter. Say you want to represent a thread, we can grab a thread tool. Draw us a thread. We'll say that high. Ta-da. Now you know, and anybody you show it to, that's probably a thread. If you want to show an internal thread, no problemo. Grab your weld tool and do that. And now you can see that looks like a threaded piece. It's not 3D. It's not manipulable. You can't revolve around it and look behind it and all that neat stuff. But for technical drawing, hey, that's a lot better than drawing all them stupid little lines or hash marks in yourself. On Amazon, you can get the Corel Draw Technical Suite 16. It's a couple versions behind, but that's the latest that works with XP for you, Larry. And it is $99. Hey, you can't beat that for a really, really good piece of software. And with that, I'm going to get out of here. You've listened to me enough. It's cooling off, and I better get outside and cut the grass. So until next time, bye now.